The sunrise in the Kalahari reveals an arid and inhospitable landscape where life survives amidst scarcity. This is no ordinary desert. It receives seasonal rains and is home to a surprising diversity of species, adapted to the harsh conditions, making it one of the most biodiverse semi-arid regions on the planet. A giant and silent land spanning over 350,000 square miles, making it the largest continuous stretch of sand in the world. An extreme environment where the daily struggle for survival is constant. Located in southern Africa, it covers countries like Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa. Scattered trees, resilient grasses, and gnarled shrubs dot the landscape, creating refuges for a rich and diverse fauna in this ecosystem. Survival is an exercise in constant adaptation. Swift antelope cross the sand alongside imposing elephants, while predators like cheetahs and lions lie in wait with patience. Everything is calculated, every movement counts, and even the silence seems to be part of life's choreography. In the Kalahari, every drop of water is a true treasure, rare, precious, and vital for survival. In a land where drought dominates the horizon and rain is a fleeting blessing, water sets the rhythm of life. Animals travel great distances, guided by the scent of moisture, while adapted plants absorb even the slightest dew, and even the smallest insects gather around temporary puddles. Here, a single drop can mean the difference between life and death, and so it is treated with the reverence given to liquid gold amidst the desert. In the midst of the dry and seemingly barren expanse of southern Africa, something extraordinary happens every year, a phenomenon that defies logic and transforms the desert into pulsating life. Even as the Kalahari remains under a nearly cloudless sky, the rains begin their story thousands of miles away in the green highlands of Angola. There, among mountains and plateaus, begins an aquatic journey that defies time and distance. The waters that fall at the beginning of the year do not follow the traditional path to the sea. Instead, they undertake a long journey, winding through rivers that cut across savannas, woodlands, and plains, until they find a unique destination, the dry heart of the Kalahari. When these waters finally reach the Kalahari, they seem to defy all odds. They slowly flood the desert, nourishing the parched land and giving rise to the world's largest inland delta, officially called the Okavango Delta, but known globally as the Okavango Delta. This phenomenon is a geographical rarity and an ecological miracle. The magic behind the Okavango Delta begins between January and February, when torrential rains feed the Okavango and Quito rivers, the region's main arteries. These waters travel hundreds of miles, gaining strength and volume along the way, until they finally reach Botswana. There, instead of continuing toward the ocean, the flow spreads out into a fan of channels and floodplains, forming an impressive mosaic that covers an area roughly 155 by 93 miles during the peak of the flood, between March and June. At this point, the sand fills with water, aridity turns to fertility, and life explodes in all directions. A miracle emerges, the desert blooms, and an impressive diversity of animals emerges from the shadows, ready to take advantage of the short period of abundance. The region's intense heat accelerates evaporation and plant transpiration, creating a cycle of floods and droughts that shapes life in the delta. The flood reaches its peak between June and August, right during Botswana's dry winter, causing the delta to triple in size. This event attracts an impressive amount of wildlife coming from great distances, transforming the area into one of Africa's largest concentrations of animals. The delta's flat terrain, with less than 6.5 feet of variation over an area of nearly 6,000 square miles, facilitates this spreading of the waters. Every year, about 2.9 trillion gallons of water flow through the Okavango Delta, but none of it reaches other bodies of water. 60% is absorbed by plants, 36% evaporates, and only 4% is divided between seeping into the soil and flowing to Lake Ngami. Interestingly, about 70% of the delta's islands originated from termite mounds that served as a base for tree growth, and later for soil stabilization. The region's climate is marked by rains concentrated in the summer, with an annual average of about 18 inches and temperatures that can exceed 104 degrees Fahrenheit, along with high humidity levels. During the dry months, the heat is intense, and sporadic storms help to cool the environment during this period. The extent of the water reaches its peak, with the widest part of the delta reaching an incredible 105 miles in width, creating a vibrant oasis amidst the arid desert landscape. The phenomenon known as the flood pulse in the Okavango River is one of the most impressive displays of the delta's water dynamics. This natural process occurs annually and is responsible for transforming vast areas of dry land into a vibrant aquatic ecosystem. The flood pulse is a vital phenomenon as it ensures the renewal of aquatic habitats, creating temporary areas of abundance that support an impressive variety of life. During this period, the delta transforms into a living sanctuary. It is a refuge for nearly half of the continent's elephant population, with immense migratory herds crossing its channels in search of food and safety. The region is home to 164 species of mammals, including lions, leopards, cheetahs, hyenas, and African wild dogs, as well as rare species like the sitatunga, an antelope adapted to aquatic life. Most of roughly 200,000 large mammals that roam the delta's surroundings do not stay there year-round. They are nomadic, guided by the rhythms of rain and vegetation. With the arrival of the summer rains, these creatures leave in search of new pastures and shelter, beginning a journey that can last for weeks. Also coexisting in this ecological mosaic are 157 species of reptiles, ranging from small lizards into the feared Nile crocodiles, in addition to 540 species of birds, including fish eagles, kingfishers, storks, and pelicans, and endemic species that depend directly on the delta's waters to survive. It is a paradise for wildlife observers and a natural laboratory for scientists from around the world. Among the first to arrive are the elephants, true giants of the savannah. Stepping with the force of a ton per foot, the largest land animal in the world clears paths through shrubs and trees, as if they were made of paper. They travel long distances in search of water and food. In the pulsating heart of the Okavango Delta, where the waters dance over the dry land of the Kalahari and transform everything around them, lives one of the most impressive elephant populations on the planet. More than 130,000 individuals, the largest concentration of African elephants in the world, living in harmony with an ecosystem that depends directly on their footprints, habits, and ancestral wisdom. This giant is capable of smelling the liquid treasure from miles away, even under tons of sand and the scorching midday Sunday. They survive in arid environments like the Okavango Delta and the Kalahari Desert. Part of this success comes from an almost magical ability, the ability to detect the presence of groundwater from over 6 miles away, thanks to an incredibly keen sense of smell. Combined with an impressive memory, elephants can identify subtle clues left by the environment, such as variations in vegetation, soil moisture, or even the direction of the wind, to guide their herd to hidden sources. They are the desert's natural well diggers, capable of digging wells with their feet and trunks, creating true oases for themselves and for countless other species that depend on them to survive. This sensitivity to water makes the elephant one of the most important ecological engineers in the African savanna. In the Okavango, they find everything they need: fresh water, aquatic vegetation, and shade. With their skillful trunks, they unearth roots, pull down branches, and dig holes, creating small pools that benefit countless other species. The African elephant is a true titan that can reach up to 13 feet in height at the shoulder and weigh an impressive 6 to 7 tons, the equivalent of a loaded truck gliding on 4 feet. Its body is a living wall, covered by thick, wrinkled skin and marked by the scars of a lifetime spent facing extreme heat and relentless droughts. Its tusks, made of pure ivory, can grow to over 6.5 feet long, while its gigantic ears, shaped like a map of Africa, help regulate the temperature of a body that functions like a true powerhouse. The elephant's monumental size isn't just a matter of grandeur, it's a survival strategy, and with its long limbs, it can cross great distances in search of water and food, and with its imposing mass, it wards off predators and ensures the group's safety in the harsh kingdom of the desert. Being large isn't just an advantage, it's a vital necessity on the edges of the Okavango Delta, where water winds like veins over a body of sand and life, walks one of Africa's most iconic creatures, the Okavango elephant. Unlike its relatives from the Kalahari, who live under the rule of heat and scarcity, this giant thrives in an environment of seasonal abundance. It is a fluid survivor that reinvents itself between drought and flood. When the waters recede, it crosses great distances to reach new pastures. When the rains arrive, it celebrates by bathing and diving with almost childlike joy. A single Okavango elephant can consume up to 440 pounds of vegetation daily, including leaves, branches, bark, fruits, and even roots torn out with brutal force using its multifunctional trunk. It spends up to 16 hours a day feeding, scouring trees and shrubs for nutrients and to quench its thirst. In an environment where water flows like blood in the savanna's arteries, it needs to drink between 26 and 52 gallons of water per day, and this amount can double on intensely hot days or during long walks under the African Sunday. Right behind the elephants come the African buffalo, moving in large herds, always alert to dangers, hidden among the vegetation. These animals form impressive herds that can range from small groups of 20 to 30 individuals to super herds of more than 1,000 buffalo moving like a black sea over the flooded landscape. An adult can measure up to 5.6 feet high at the shoulder, with robust bodies exceeding nearly 10 feet in length. They can weigh from 1,700 to over 2,200 pounds and are true living walls with horns, curved and joined in the center by a bony base called a boss, which serves as a shield in battles between males and in defense against predators. Living in regions of dense vegetation and fertile soils, the Okavango buffalo feed on abundant grasses and forage, consuming up to 55 pounds of vegetation per day to maintain their colossal frames. But buffalo are not just voracious eaters, they are fundamental pieces on the ecological chessboard of the Okavango. By grazing in large groups, they keep the grasses short, clearing the way for other smaller species and preventing the brush from becoming too dense, which could encourage devastating fires. Where they pass, they fertilize the soil with abundant manure, creating microenvironments conducive to plant regeneration. And where there is prey, there are predators. Despite their gregarious behavior and impressive strength, which offers mutual protection against predators, lions, hyenas, and crocodiles still hunt them. This relationship of hunt and defense maintains the population balance between species. When a lion takes down a buffalo, it doesn't feed alone. Vultures, jackals, and even insects benefit from the remains left behind. Thus, the Cape buffalo is much more than a robust herbivore. It is a natural engineer, a silent keeper of ecological harmony that makes the Okavango Delta one of the most vibrant and pulsating ecosystems on Earth. In the wild kingdom of the Okavango Delta, where water shapes the cycle of life and vegetation grows with fury between the floods, predators reign with cunning and power. This humid sanctuary, one of the richest in Africa, is home to a formidable list of hunters, each with its specific role in the region's ecological balance. At the top of this chain is the lion, the supreme predator of the Okavango. In organized groups known as prides, these felines coordinate attacks with surgical precision, taking down enormous prey like buffalo and even young elephants. With bodies that exceed 440 pounds and powerful jaws, lions are the brute force of the delta. Lions adapted to the marshy terrain hunt in groups, using the vegetation as camouflage and attacking with lethal precision. Unlike lions from other regions, these have developed stronger paws and specific strategies to avoid getting stuck during a hunt, becoming specialists in this hybrid environment between land and water. In the unpredictable and changing environment of the Okavango Delta, where water shapes the territory and vegetation creates natural corridors and traps, other predators have adapted to compete in the fierce fight for food. Cheetahs and leopards face unique challenges to hunt, move, and survive. The cheetah, ever known for being the fastest land animal on the planet, has had to go beyond just speed to adapt to this obstacle-filled ecosystem. In the Okavango, where the ground can be flooded and the vegetation reduces visibility, the cheetah becomes more cautious, using small open fields between the islands and areas of low grass to ambush its prey. In an explosive sprint, it can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds, a performance comparable to many high-performance sports cars. Its top speed It can reach 75 miles per hour, depending on the terrain, climate, and the animal's health. The cheetah's efficiency comes from its body, which is adapted for speed. A flexible spine, long legs, powerful muscles, a tail used as a rudder for balance in turns, and large nostrils that facilitate oxygenation. Each run is an intense, fast, precise explosion, and is often decisive in capturing prey. It avoids the deepest swamps, concentrating its activity in transitional regions between dry and wet areas. Its semi-retractable claws act like true cleats, ensuring traction even on damp soil. Its spotted coat serves as perfect camouflage, helping it hide among shadows and foliage, before striking with lightning-fast precision. Meanwhile, the African leopard, a master of stealth, proves even more adapted to the maze, labyrinthine environment of the Okavango. Unlike the cheetah, which relies on speed and relatively open areas, the leopard, a solitary and silent hunter, explores the marshy terrain with patience and strategy. Gifted with excellent climbing ability, it uses trees not only as a refuge but also as an observation platform and a safe place to store its prey. Its wide paws distribute its weight better on the unstable ground, preventing it from sinking in flooded areas. In addition, its robust and muscular body allows for silent movement through the dense vegetation, ideal for quick and precise ambushes. Its versatile diet is also a crucial advantage. While the cheetah depends mostly on medium-sized antelopes, the leopard hunts everything from small rodents to baboons, birds, and the young of larger animals, adapting to what is available at the moment with impressive dietary flexibility. Here, all predators have developed specific behavioral habits to deal with the risks of the delta, especially with the constant presence of competitors like lions, hyenas, and even crocodiles. The more vulnerable cheetahs tend to avoid confrontations and prefer to hunt at specific times, like dawn or dusk, when there is less activity from lions and hyenas. They often need to consume their prey quickly before it is stolen. As for the stronger and more aggressive leopards, they use stealth as their main defense. They rarely enter into direct conflict and prefer isolation, maintaining large, well-marked territories. The ability to drag prey up into the high branches of trees is one of the greatest behavioral adaptations of leopards, a technique that ensures food security even in the most contested environments of the Okavango. It is this combination of strength, intelligence, and adaptation that makes these two hunters true survivors in one of the most challenging and rich ecosystems in the world. On the flooded plains and dry fields of the Okavango Delta, a less glamorous but absolutely vital spectacle takes place far from the public eye: the meticulous cleanup of death. Here, hyenas, vultures, and the fearsome marabou stork reign as the ecosystem's true janitors. Hyenas, with their reputation as opportunistic scavengers, are much more than simple opportunists. They are tireless strategists, patrolling vast territories in search of fresh carcasses or vulnerable prey. With bone-crushing jaws and powerful digestion, capable of processing even hooves and tendons, these animals eliminate organic waste that, if abandoned, would spread diseases and attract parasites. But make no mistake, hyenas are also efficient hunters. They work in groups, organized like a disciplined army, capable of coordinating pursuits and kills with deadly precision. However, their true importance goes beyond hunting. They recycle death, transforming remains into living energy and keeping the environment clean and balanced. The jaws of hyenas are among the most powerful in the animal kingdom, capable of exerting a force of up to 1,100 pounds, enough to crush thick bones as if they were dry twigs. This extraordinary strength allows them to consume parts of a carcass that other predators leave behind, such as tendons, cartilage, and even the skeleton itself. With sharp teeth and molars adapted for crushing, hyenas make use of every fragment of food, becoming the perfect recyclers of the savanna. This ability not only ensures their survival, even in times of scarcity, but also plays an essential role in cleaning and balancing the ecosystem. Hyenas have a complex and highly structured social organization known for its matriarchy. Leadership is dominated by females, who are larger, stronger, and more aggressive than the males. Within the clan, which can have up to 80 individuals, there is a well-defined hierarchy. with each member occupying a specific place based on their age, strength, and status. High-ranking females lead the hunt and have priority access to food, while the males, despite being subordinate, play important roles in protection and collaboration. The social life of hyenas is marked by intense communication, including vocalizations, body language, and territorial marking. This efficient social system allows the clan to hunt, protect the young, and defend their territory with great cohesion and organization. And when the delta's skies fill with silent shadows, it's a sign that the vultures have entered the scene. These often underestimated birds are the aerial sentinels of decay. With keen eyesight, they spot carcasses from miles away and spiral down upon the lifeless body, consuming skin, muscles, and organs that even hyenas leave behind. Vultures possess an extremely sharp sense of smell. These scavengers can detect the scent of carrion from impressive distances up to 5 to 6 miles away. They are able to identify gases released by decomposing tissues, especially ethyl mercaptan, a sulfurous compound that is released in the very first stages of putrefaction. This sense is so well developed that in dense areas of closed savanna where sight would be limited, their sense of smell becomes the main ally in locating carcasses in the Okavango. There are several species, such as the palm nut vulture, the lappet-faced vulture, and the white-backed vulture, all with specific roles in dismantling the remains. Their highly acidic digestion neutralizes dangerous bacteria like anthrax and botulism, preventing these diseases from spreading through the food chain. One of the largest and most imposing birds in Africa is present in the Okavango Delta. It is easily recognizable by its unique appearance: a robust body, a naked neck, a long, thick bill, and a pouch of skin hanging from its neck, a feature that gives it a prehistoric and sometimes frightening look. Despite its less than graceful appearance, the marabou stork plays a fundamental ecological role in the delta, acting as a scavenger. That is, feeding mainly on carcasses and organic waste, which contributes to cleaning the environment and controlling diseases. In the delta, the marabou can often be spotted around bodies of water, where it takes advantage of both dead fish and small aquatic animals. Besides being a scavenger, it also hunts actively, feeding on frogs, insects, rodents, and even the chicks of other birds when the opportunity arises. It is an opportunistic bird, adaptable and highly efficient, especially during the flood season when the abundance of prey and the remains of dead animals increases. With its wingspan, which can exceed 10 feet, the marabou dominates the banks and marshes with an imposing presence. Together, vultures, marabou storks, and hyenas form an invisible but irreplaceable ecological machine. Without them, the accumulation of carcasses would contaminate the water, attract pests, and endanger all the biodiversity of the region. In the silence of their actions, these natural cleaners ensure that the cycle of life continues to flow in balance, transforming death into renewal. In the wild heart of the Okavango, in the Okavango Delta, one of the most impressive and effective hunters is the African wild dog, also known as the painted dog, with an estimated population of only 6,000 individuals in all of Africa. This Okavango predator forms compact groups or packs, which generally range from 2 to 15 animals. Their strength lies in cooperation and communication, fundamental to their highly coordinated hunting strategy. Instead of isolated attacks, wild dogs hunt as a team, with each member playing a specific role, whether chasing the prey, flushing it out, or isolating the target. They are known for their incredible endurance, hunting over long distances, which allows them to exhaust their prey, such as impalas, gazelles, and even young buffalo. Their speed, agility, and teamwork make every chase a strategic operation. Socially, the wild dogs of the Okavango have a fluid hierarchical structure where both males and females participate equally in hunting and defending the group. The pack is held together by a strong social bond, and all members, including the pups, are cared for by the entire pack, ensuring the survival of the offspring. This cooperative behavior extends beyond the hunt. The dogs also share food equally, ensuring that even the youngest pups receive essential nutrients. In terms of the ecosystem, wild dogs play a fundamental role in controlling herbivore populations, preventing certain species from becoming overpopulated and depleting plant resources. Their ability to hunt in groups also allows them to achieve a much higher success rate than other predators like lions, helping to maintain the balance between prey and predators. In the Okavango, their presence is vital to the ecosystem, as they help shape the diversity and health of the habitat, promoting plant regeneration and the natural dynamics of species. In the water channels that wind through the vast territory, hippos are a constant and imposing presence. It is estimated that there are about 150,000 hippos in Africa, with a large concentration in the Okavango, where the shallow waters and marshes offer the ideal environment for their survival. These semi-aquatic giants spend most of the day submerged in the cool waters, protecting their sensitive skin from the scorching heat of the African Sunday. Although often seen floating or walking in the shallows, hippos are extremely territorial and social animals, living in groups of up to 30 individuals and with a clear hierarchy. At night, they emerge from the water to graze, consuming enormous amounts of vegetation, up to 77 pounds of grass per night, and are capable of traveling great distances in search of food. They are true giants of African fauna. An adult hippo can reach up to 15 feet in length and weigh between 3,300 and 4,000 pounds on average, with some particularly large individuals exceeding 4,400 pounds. Their calm appearance and seemingly docile behavior hide the fact that they are one of the most dangerous animals in the Okavango. With their powerful jaws and sharp canine teeth, which can measure up to 20 inches, they are extremely aggressive when they feel threatened or when defending their territories and young. Hippos are often underestimated when it comes to dangers in African wildlife, but the reality is that they are among the continent's most lethal animals. It is estimated that on average, hippos cause around 500 human deaths per year in Africa, a number higher than that of many more feared predators like lions or crocodiles. Despite their great mass, they are surprisingly agile both in water and on land, able to run up to 19 miles per hour for short distances, which makes them even more imposing, since their combination of size, strength, and speed is unparalleled. This immense size and power of movement make hippos one of the most dominant and respected creatures in the Okavango ecosystem. Their presence in this ecosystem is fundamental, as their activities, like trampling the bottom of rivers and lakes, help maintain the flow of water and increase the circulation of essential nutrients for other aquatic and plant species. One of the most iconic groups of the African savanna thrives in perfect harmony with the cycles of water and vegetation: the antelopes. Antelopes belong to a diverse group within the bovid family, the same as cattle, goats, and sheep, but with unique traits that set them apart. One of their main characteristics is a body adapted for running and agility. Long, slender legs, flexible joints, and muscles developed for quick bursts of speed. They are herbivores, feeding on grasses, leaves, and in some cases, aquatic plants. Their teeth are adapted for grazing and ruminating, aiding in the efficient digestion of plant cellulose. Another trademark is their permanent horns. Unlike deer, which shed their antlers every year, these horns come in various shapes depending on the species, and are used in disputes between males or for defense. Antelopes also stand out for their highly developed senses, wide vision, sharp hearing, and a sensitive sense of smell. These abilities are essential in open environments where survival depends on detecting danger before it's too late. Group living is a common trait among them, offering collective protection against predators. This set of attributes, mobility, sensory awareness, and social strategy, is what makes antelopes true masters of adaptation. In the heart of Africa, this humid paradise is home to an impressive diversity of species, each with unique adaptations that allow them to thrive in different niches of the ecosystem. Among the most numerous is the black-footed lechwe, a subspecies of lechwe perfectly adapted to the aquatic environment of this unique ecosystem. These antelopes live in large herds that can number in the hundreds, forming one of the most striking and constant presences in the delta's flooded areas. The lechwe is easily recognizable by its golden brown coat, with a lighter underbelly and dark, almost black hind legs, a feature that gives it its name. But most impressive is its adaptation to the flooded environment. Its legs are long and coated with an oily substance that helps repel water, allowing it to run with agility in swamps and flooded areas, where few predators can easily reach it. This ability makes the lechwe a true water runner. The males have long, lyre-shaped horns used in fights for dominance and territory, while the females live in organized groups, always alert to signs of danger. They are a key piece of the Okavango food chain, serving as prey for lions, leopards, and wild dogs. Their abundance helps sustain various predators, and their presence indicates the health of the wetland ecosystem. Among the antelope species, there is one that is shy and almost invisible, the sitatunga, a master of hiding among the reeds and aquatic grasses, with an oily coat that repels water and wide hooves that make it easier to move through the mud. Among winding channels and mopane forests lives one of the most elegant and numerous animals of the African savanna, the impala. These medium-sized antelopes with graceful movements form large herds that move with an almost hypnotic synchronicity. With their soft, caramel-colored coats, black markings on their hind legs, and ever-watchful eyes, impalas are masters of vigilance, always on high alert for the predators that roam the delta. They don't just see danger, they practically sense it. In a sudden leap, they can rise up to 10 feet in the air and fly for over 30 feet in a single bound and escape choreography that confuses lions, leopards, and wild dogs, making them one of the most difficult targets to catch when in a group. During the mating season, males compete for territories with impressive displays of strength and guttural vocalizations, trying to win over a harem of females. In the drier months, they gather in large, mixed herds, using their numbers for protection. The largest of the antelopes, the eland, imposing and silent, is usually seen wandering in small groups or alone. Although not the most numerous, its imposing presence makes it unmistakable on the savanna landscape. Males can weigh between 1,700 and 2,200 pounds, with some even exceeding that, and measure up to 5.25 feet high at the shoulder, while females are lighter and more slender. Both sexes have spiral horns, although the males are thicker and shorter. Despite its colossal size, the eland is a surprisingly agile animal. It can jump fences over 6.5 feet high and, for short distances, can reach considerable speeds for its mass. Its robust body, with a light brown coat and a fringe of hair on its neck, is adapted to endure long treks in search of food and water. The greater kudu is slightly smaller than the eland, but also draws attention for its size and unique features. With its imposing spiral horns, which can reach up to 5 feet in length, this antelope not only commands respect but embodies an almost supernatural elegance. Adult males can reach up to 5.25 feet in height at the withers, the highest point of the back, and weigh between 420 and 600 pounds, being much more robust than the females, who are visibly smaller and lack the long, spiraled horns that make the males so distinct. The total body length can reach an impressive 8.2 feet, not including the tail, which adds another 12 to 20 inches. On its back, vertical white stripes run like brushstrokes, hand-painted by some ancient artist. Each mark seems to tell an ancient story of survival, cunning, and silence. The kudu moves with a surprising lightness for such a robust animal, gliding between the bushes with the grace of a shadow. Its watchful eyes observe everything, but are rarely seen. A symbol of strength and mystery, the greater kudu has been revered by different African cultures as a guardian of the forest and a messenger of the gods. Its presence inspires respect, not only among its natural predators, but also among the peoples who share its territory. The kudu is a master of camouflage and disappearance. In moments of danger, it can vanish into the shadows of the vegetation as if it had dissolved into thin air. It is this duality between an imposing presence and absolute silence that transforms it into an almost mystical figure, a living symbol of untamable nature. While other animals choose confrontation or flight, the kudu prefers strategic stillness, becoming invisible, even under the watchful gaze of experienced predators. Together, these antelopes not only enrich the visual scenery of the delta, but also sustain the food chain, serving as food for large predators and maintaining the balance of the grasslands through their feeding habits. In the Okavango Delta, where the savanna blends with channels and scattered forests, Giraffes walk with silent majesty, like living towers that trace the African horizon. They are the tallest land animals on the planet, with males that can reach up to 18 feet in height, practically the equivalent of a two-story building. Their long necks do not have more vertebrae than other mammals, but rather elongated vertebrae that allow them to reach the tops of acacia trees, their favorite. With agile and muscular tongues, measuring up to 18 inches, they pull leaves from between thorns as if it were the simplest thing in the world. In the Okavango, giraffes prefer areas with shrubby vegetation and sparse woodlands, where their diet can be satisfied with fresh foliage and abundant nutrients, an advantage in an environment where grass is not always reliable. Although they may seem solitary, they live in loose groups, usually composed of females and their young, with males moving between groups in search of mates. Their height is an ally for surveillance. With eyes positioned high up, they can spot predators like lions from great distances and alert other species with their behavior. In this ecosystem, giraffes play a vital role. By pruning the trees, they shape the vegetation, spread seeds, and create clearings that encourage the growth of new plants. They are living sculptures, imposing and silent, whose presence reinforces the balance and beauty of the delta. The blue wildebeest, also known as the gnu, is one of the most striking protagonists of the Okavango Delta, with its robust body, large head, curved, and horns, and grayish coat with bluish reflections. It looks like a cross between an ox and an antelope and carries in its appearance all their strength and endurance. With speeds that can exceed 50 miles per hour, they are not only fast but also persistent, using endurance as their greatest weapon against predators. In this ecosystem, it finds seasonal pastures, ideal for feeding, thanks to the pulse of the floods that transform the soil from arid land into fertile fields. But what really distinguishes the blue wildebeest is its migratory spirit. It participates in one of the largest and most spectacular animal movements in the world, the Great Migration. Every year, hundreds of thousands of wildebeest move en masse in search of water and food, accompanied by zebras and other herbivores, although the core of this migration occurs further north in the Serengeti and Maasai Mara. In the Okavango Delta, local migrations also occur, driven by the rains and the growth of the grasslands. During these movements, the wildebeest face river crossings, predator ambushes, and extreme challenges, but it is this very movement that fertilizes the land, spreads seeds, feeds predators, and keeps the circle of life turning. The true strength of the wildebeest is in the collective. As a group, they form a nearly impenetrable barrier against threats by using a behavior called mass confusion. When a predator approaches, the herd moves in a coordinated fashion with dozens or hundreds of bodies running together, spinning and changing direction, making it difficult for lions, hyenas, or wild dogs to single out a specific target. Wildebeest often gather with other species like zebras and impalas, forming a community of watchful eyes and alert ears. This mutual strategy increases everyone's chances of survival, and when necessary, the adult males do not hesitate to confront danger head-on, using their curved, sharp horns as defense. They are not just tireless travelers, they are a fundamental part of the delta's ecological balance. Their movement in giant herds helps keep the vegetation in check, their presence attracts lions and hyenas, and their bodies feed an entire food chain, and when they fall to the dangers of the journey. The blue wildebeest is a symbol of resilience and natural interdependence that pulses intensely in the heart of the Okavango. In the wake of the great wildebeest herds, marching side by side across the open plains of the Okavango, are the zebras, their traveling companions and allies in survival. Together, these two species form a strategic partnership that increases their chances against predators and expands their access to food. Zebras, with their robust bodies and mesmerizing stripes, are not just beautiful, they are a living example of ingenious adaptation. Each stripe pattern is unique, like a human's fingerprints. This striking trait confuses predators, deters flies, and helps regulate body temperature. At about 8 feet long and weighing up to 770 pounds, they have a stature that commands respect. But what is most impressive is their endurance. They are tireless runners, capable of reaching speeds of up to 40 miles per hour for short bursts, using this ability to flee from lions, hyenas, and crocodiles. Zebras also have excellent vision and hearing, and they live in cohesive social groups, led by a dominant stallion who protects his mares and foals. Their diet consists of drier, more fibrous grasses, which complements the selective diet of the wildebeest, a relationship that reduces competition between the species and strengthens their joint migration. The great migrations of wildebeest and zebras are true tests of endurance and survival. With every step, these herbivores face a landscape fraught with threats, where the search for food and water is intertwined with the constant risk of death. It is not enough to simply find fresh pastures. They must escape land predators like lions, cheetahs, leopards, and wild dogs who follow the herds like hungry shadows. But the danger does not come from solid ground alone. During the crossings of rivers and channels, silent creatures await just beneath the surface. In the calm but treacherous waters of the Okavango Delta lurks one of the planet's oldest and most relentless predators, the Nile crocodile. With bodies armored in scales, powerful jaws, and eyes that watch silently from the surface, these reptiles are masters of the ambush. Some individuals grow to over 16 feet long and can weigh more than 1,500 pounds, perfect predators shaped by millions of years of evolution for the wildebeest and zebras that must cross the delta's channels during their migrations in search of pasture. An encounter with these giants represents the deadliest moment of their journey. River crossings are moments of extreme tension. Hundreds of animals gather at the water's edge, sensing the invisible danger. The smallest misstep can be fatal. When one wildebeest hesitates and then leaps, it is as if a switch has been flipped. The nearly motionless crocodiles explode from the depths in lightning-fast attacks, with their jaws that snap shut with a force of up to 5,000 pounds. They grab the prey by the leg or the neck and drag it underwater, where they begin the feared death roll. There is no mercy, no easy escape. But paradoxically, this violence is an essential part of the ecosystem's balance. The crocodiles regulate the herbivore population, preventing the overexploitation of the riverbanks and helping to keep the cycle of life in harmony. Each crossing is a dramatic spectacle where survival is written with every splash, every leap, every silence broken by a sudden attack. While on one hand, wildebeest, zebras, hyenas, and wild dogs rely on strength in numbers, forming large groups that offer protection, cooperation, and constant vigilance. On the other hand, there are animals that walk more solitary paths. But this solitude is not a sign of weakness. It is sustained by something that speaks louder: size. Here, there exists a gigantic animal that few dare to disturb. The rhinoceros is one of the most imposing and iconic creatures. Two species inhabit the region: the white rhinoceros and the black rhinoceros, both with distinct characteristics, but equally impressive in their stature and behavior. The white rhino, larger and more robust, can reach up to 13 feet in length and weigh over 4,400 pounds, making it one of Africa's largest herbivores. Its wide mouth is adapted to graze on grass, which is its primary food source. The black rhino, on the other hand, is smaller and more agile, and stands out for its ability to maneuver in denser areas of vegetation, where it prefers to feed on shrubs and leaves. Both have thick, wrinkled skin that protects them from the intense rays of the sun and from insects, and a horn made of keratin that is their symbol of strength and resilience. These animals, despite their imposing and sometimes ferocious appearance, are generally calm as long as they do not feel threatened. However, when faced with a danger like a predator or intruder, they can be surprisingly fast and aggressive. The rhino's keratin horns are powerful and dangerous weapons of impressive size and strength. They can be used for both defense and attack. When threatened, rhinos can strike with lethal force, knocking down trees or gravely injuring predators or humans. In addition, during territorial or mating disputes, the horns are used in violent combat between rhinos, which can result in serious injury or even death. These horns are essential for the survival and dominance of these animals, helping them protect their territory and vital resources. Their giant footprints and heavy movements help shape the terrain, opening paths that allow new vegetation to grow, as well as dispersing seeds as they feed. These giants of the African savanna with their endurance and strength, are true pillars of the Okavango ecosystem, reminding everyone of the vastness of life that inhabits this natural paradise. Other smaller and more curious creatures are also residents of the delta's fauna, like the warthog, also known as the African wild boar, with its long, curved tusks that protrude from its jaws. The warthog is a true symbol of adaptability and survival. These medium-sized, robust-bodied animals are covered by a thick coat of bristles, tough and sparse, that help protect them from predators and the delta's abrasive vegetation. Although they are normally solitary animals or live in small groups, their aggressive and territorial nature means that, when threatened, they display surprising strength, using their tusks as deadly weapons. In search of food, it is an excellent digger. Its diet is varied and includes roots, fruits, insects, and even small vertebrates, making it an opportunistic animal. These feeding habits, combined with their digging ability, help shape the surrounding environment by clearing the way for new plants to grow and modifying the local ecosystem. Additionally, their digging also exposes minerals and other food sources that are essential for various species in the delta. Despite their aggressive behavior, when threatened, the warthog is most often a timid animal that prefers to avoid direct confrontation. Its importance in the Okavango ecosystem goes beyond just being a food source. With its digging and adaptations, it contributes to local biodiversity and soil health, ensuring a crucial balance for the dynamics of this wild paradise. In this challenging ecosystem, baboons stand out as some of the most ingenious and adaptable inhabitants of the region. These primates, belonging to the genus Times Papio *, live in large family groups known as troops, where social life is intense, strategic, and marked by a well-defined hierarchy. Each member has a role. Dominant males maintain order and defend the group, while females form strong bonds with each other, care for the young, and ensure group cohesion. These social bonds are not just affectionate, but also tactical, guaranteeing protection, access to food, and support in the constant disputes over space and resources. Baboons communicate in an incredibly complex manner through varied vocalizations, subtle facial expressions, and even specific touches, creating a system of coexistence that borders on the political. These animals are highly opportunistic. Omnivores by nature, they feed on fruits, seeds, roots, small animals, insects, and even bird eggs, exploring every corner of the ecosystem in search of food. With agile fingers and watchful eyes, they scour the ground, break open branches, and examine fallen logs, always alert for predators like leopards, hyenas, or eagles. At the slightest sign of danger, they emit shrill cries that alert the entire troop, seeking refuge in trees or on high rocks. This combination of intelligence, cooperation, and constant vigilance makes baboons natural survivors, essential to the delta's balance, whether by dispersing seeds, controlling insect populations, or even altering the behavior of predators in the delta. Baboons move with dexterity between the riverine forest and the open plains, taking advantage of the abundance of the seasonal floods, but also enduring periods of scarcity with impressive resilience. They are, in essence, a reflection of the delta's very nature: unpredictable, versatile, intense, and, above all, fundamental to the complex ecological machinery that transforms this African sanctuary into one of the most extraordinary wildlife refuges on the planet. And it's not just the large land animals that benefit from the flood. The Okavango Delta is a paradise for water birds. More than 400 species are recorded in the region, among them the sacred ibis, the colorful lilac-breasted roller, and the imposing crowned crane. But none draws as much attention as the African fish eagle, which, with its keen vision and elegant flight, patrols the banks of the channels in search of fish. On the flooded banks and in the tranquil channels of the delta, an elegant and ancient figure stands out, with its immaculate white body, arched black neck, and a long recurved bill like a sickle. It is the sacred ibis, one of the most symbolic birds of the African continent, revered since the times of ancient Egypt, as the incarnation of the god Thoth, the Lord of Knowledge. In this living and vibrant setting, this bird finds the ideal environment to thrive. Shallow waters, muddy banks, and an abundance of aquatic prey create the perfect stage for its meticulous routine of foraging. With slow, calculated steps, the ibis plunges its bill into the mud, probing blindly for crustaceans, insects, mollusks, small fish, and even frogs. Its versatile menu reflects its ability to adapt to different phases of the water cycle. The sacred ibis is a highly social bird, living in large groups that fly in formation at dawn and dusk in search of food. It builds nests in trees near the water, forming large colonies with other water birds. During breeding, males and females collaborate on building the nest and caring for the chicks. Beyond its imposing beauty, the bird plays an essential role in the ecosystem. As a predator of small aquatic organisms, it helps maintain the balance and cleanliness of the waters. Its sensitivity to water quality makes it a valuable ecological indicator, turning the sacred ibis into a true natural guardian of the delta. The African grey hornbill is another winged inhabitant of the Okavango Delta. It is a bird with a long, curved bill known for its distinctive vocalization and social behavior. It lives in pairs or small groups, feeding on fruits, seeds, insects, and small animals, which makes it essential for pest control and seed dispersal in the ecosystem. Its reproduction is remarkable. The female isolates herself in a tree hole, sealing the entrance, while the male feeds her until the chicks are born. This cooperative system ensures the protection and survival of the offspring. Discreet but vital. The grey hornbill symbolizes the complexity and ingenuity of this ecosystem. Majestic and unmistakable, the African fish eagle is one of the most striking presences in the Okavango Delta, with its bright white chest, dark wings, and a powerful curved beak. It is easily recognized both by its appearance and by its shrill cry that echoes through the skies like a sonic symbol of African wildlife. This eagle is an expert aquatic hunter, specializing in catching fish directly from the surface of rivers and lagoons, with its sharp talons and impressive reflexes. From its perch, usually a tall tree at the water's edge, it watches with patience, waiting for the exact moment to dive in a swift and precise swoop. When it attacks, the impact of its talons can be devastating, and the prey almost never has a chance to escape. Its diet is based mainly on fish, but it also adapts well to the environment, sometimes hunting small reptiles, water birds, or even consuming carrion in times of scarcity. Despite living alone or in pairs, the presence of the fish eagle is an indicator of healthy ecosystems, as it directly depends on the abundance of clean water and aquatic life. Therefore, its occurrence in the Okavango is a reflection of the region's ecological balance. The eagle pair usually forms lasting bonds, returning to the same nest for consecutive years. On high platforms made of branches, the female usually lays 2 eggs, but only one chick usually survives, as the stronger one tends to eliminate the weaker one in the first few days of life, a reflection of harsh natural selection. This powerful and imposing bird is a vital piece in the intricate cycle of life that pulses in the delta's waters. Its flight is a display of strength and skill, a silent reminder of the interdependence among all forms of life in this natural sanctuary. Amid the vibrant colors and dramatic contrasts of the Okavango Delta, there is a bird that steals the show with its almost magical plumage, the lilac-breasted roller, considered by many to be one of the most beautiful birds in the world. It looks as if it were hand-painted by an inspired artist. Its intense lilac breast blends with shades of turquoise on its wings, mint green on its back, and even hints of beige and brown on its head feathers, creating an explosion of colors that defies any simple description. It is a small bird, but with a captivating presence. Despite its delicate appearance, the roller is an efficient hunter, feeding on insects, small reptiles, and even amphibians, which it catches on the ground after spotting them from an exposed branch. Its preference for open areas with scattered trees makes it a frequent sight in the surrounding savannas, plains, and delta margins. When spotted, in the golden light of the African dusk, it seems to shine even brighter, as if carrying in its feathers the very spirit of the Okavango. For many local cultures and visitors, spotting a lilac-breasted roller is a sign of good luck and a reminder of the incredible diversity of forms, colors, and behaviors that make this ecosystem one of the richest and most impressive on the planet. It is more than a bird. It is a living jewel, flying free in the African sky. Here walks one of the most elegant and emblematic birds of the African savanna, the gray-crowned crane. With its golden crest raised like a natural crown, this bird seems to have been shaped by nature itself to represent royalty among birds. Its slender body, covered in gray and white feathers, contrasts with its red and white painted face, creating an almost ceremonial appearance. Living in pairs or in small family groups, the crane moves gracefully across the wetlands, marching among reeds and shallow lagoons in search of food, a varied diet that includes seeds, insects, small vertebrates, and even crustaceans. But its most enchanting characteristic is perhaps its courtship dance. The crowned crane performs graceful leaps, wing flaps, and synchronized movements with its partner, transforming the mating ritual into a true wild ballet. This display, which combines beauty, aesthetics, and deep emotional bonds, is living proof that nature can be poetic. The crane is not just a visual spectacle, but an essential component in maintaining the environment, helping to control insects and disperse seeds. Its majestic and peaceful presence is a silent reminder of the harmony that can exist between instinct and elegance, a living jewel of the African savanna. Amidst the tranquil waters and winding channels of the delta, a curious and enigmatic figure catches the eye of the most attentive observers: the hammerkop. With its characteristic wide, flat head, it is easily recognized. With its understated plumage, it feeds on fish, amphibians, and aquatic insects, and is famous for its ability to build large nests made of branches, mud, and leaves, which can weigh up to 44 pounds. These nests are used for several seasons, and even by other species, highlighting the bird's ingenuity. The hammerkop, with its natural architecture, symbolizes the persistence and intelligence of the Okavango ecosystem. In the arid yet vibrant heart of the Okavango Delta, an imposing silhouette moves with elegance among the open plains and drier areas. It's the ostrich, the largest bird on the planet, with its enormous eyes and muscular legs. The ostrich is a true survivor of the African savannas. It doesn't fly. Its wings are too small for that. But what it lacks in flight, it makes up for in speed and endurance. This gigantic bird can reach up to 43 miles per hour when running, making it one of the fastest land creatures in the region, capable of escaping predators with bursts of speed. The Okavango's ostriches are adapted to extreme heat and the scarcity of water. They get most of their hydration from the food they consume, like roots, seeds, and small invertebrates, and can withstand temperature variations that would cause other, less prepared animals to collapse. In groups, these birds develop an interesting social dynamic where a dominant male usually leads and protects the females, especially during the breeding season. He is also the one who digs holes in the sand for the communal nest, where several females lay their eggs. Each egg can weigh over 3 pounds, and incubation duties are shared. The female tends to the eggs during the day, and the male takes over at night, camouflaging himself in the dark surroundings. In the Okavango ecosystem, the ostrich plays an important role as a seed disperser and as occasional prey for large predators, making it part of an ancestral life cycle that pulses silently and resiliently between the desert's shadows and light. But the delta also holds small, almost invisible secrets that sustain this entire food chain. Frogs, insects, rodents, and small reptiles emerge in great numbers during the flood, taking advantage of the moisture to reproduce. These small creatures are the foundation of an extremely sensitive ecosystem. Within the waters of the Okavango Delta, there is a hidden world of aquatic life, where fish, crustaceans, and mollusks glide among submerged vegetation and gnarled roots. This underwater environment is filled with colors and shapes that create a dance of light and shadow, revealing the harmony of the species inhabiting this ecosystem. The water transforms time and the landscape, showing the resilience and adaptation of living things in every corner of the delta, making it a space of constant renewal and a fascinating natural spectacle. 4 months have passed since the first waters began to flow from the Angolan highlands, and now the Okavango Delta flood finally reaches its peak. Millions of gallons of water have been slowly poured onto the arid soil of the Kalahari, transforming what was once dust and cracks into a mosaic of shimmering channels, fertile marshes, and temporary islands. It is the apex of an ancestral cycle where every drop counts, and every puddle teems with life. The landscape changes before your very eyes. Hungry herds return, migratory birds land in flocks, and predators approach in silence. With the flood, the desert blooms, and for a brief period, abundance reigns supreme in one of the most inhospitable places on the planet. Here, the water doesn't flow to the sea. It remains, pulses, and transforms, creating one of the most vibrant and complex ecosystems on Earth. When the peak of the flood passes, the Okavango Delta slowly begins to fall silent. The vibrant green gives way to dry gold, and the crystal-clear channels shrink, evaporating under the unforgiving Kalahari Sunday. It is an inevitable, almost ritualistic process, as the water recedes, leaving behind traces of its passage, cracks in the earth, animal tracks, and isolated pools that become the last refuge for the hardiest survivors. Waterbirds migrate, fish get trapped in temporary pools, and the struggle for survival returns with full force. The delta dries from the outside in, a slow siege by the dry season. What was once abundance turns to scarcity, and only the best adapted survive. It is at this moment that the true essence of the Okavango reveals itself, a place where life dances between extremes, where each cycle brings new trials but also new possibilities. The receding of the waters is not the end. It is only the preparation for the next rebirth. As the days pass and the hot winds begin to blow again, the Okavango Delta slowly starts to dry up. What was once a labyrinth of vivid channels and ephemeral lakes transforms into cracked earth and parched vegetation. In the heart of the Kalahari, life doesn't stop. It simply changes form, waiting for the next rains that will bring back the miracle of the water. With the relentless arrival of the dry season, the great herds have no choice but to move on, driven onward by the urgency of thirst and the instinct for survival. Every step kicks up dust and uncertainty, as not all will complete this journey. The desert reveals its cruelest face. Here, survival is a privilege reserved for the strongest and best adapted. The few waterholes that still remain become as coveted as treasure, and tension flares at every encounter. It is time to leave, not by choice, but by necessity. The direction is uncertain, the destination unknown, and the only certainty is that the desert will test every life to its limit.